Productivity, jeez, damn, the train's quite loud. I might wait until the train's finished going away. Productivity is really just about doing less. Now, what do I actually mean by that? Well, there's this really big problem, to be honest, with a lot of productivity content or like productivity gurus or just generally people sort of on self improvement, trying to improve their productivity, trying to be able to focus more, make more progress with their business, whatever. And that problem is that they just try and do more stuff, like more habits, complex routines, productivity apps, all that kind of stuff that sounds cool, looks cool, gets clicks on YouTube videos that people can sell you complicated products about over and over again, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of sucks. Like, it doesn't actually work long term, which is quite funny to me, just sort of thinking about this kind of stuff. And it doesn't actually make you any more productive. Like, maybe a little bit, to be honest. Like, it's better than doing, like, really bad habits, obviously. Um, but it is honestly worse than just doing nothing. That's because the way to actually get like properly productive, like really, really productive, is just to do less. So productivity is really about subtraction, not addition. What that means is instead of adding in a new complicated routine and some crazy productivity apps and like 20 different habits, instead you should start by just removing all the things that are stopping you from being productive in the first place. All of your distractions, so your phone, gaming, scrolling, social media, those kinds of things. Remove all of the complexity from your life. So that might even mean wearing the same clothes every day, eating the same food every day. Reducing the amount of decisions you need to make. Simplifying your routine so that you do less stuff but have longer time blocks for those things. And a lot of this as well contributes to improving your focus in both the macro and the micro. So macro focus is focus over like months and years, like very long term. Like, what are you actually working on? What projects do you have? What tasks are you doing that are like taking a while, obviously? And then the micro focus is day to day, like in the moment. Are you focused on the task at hand? And so what I'm talking about here is more macro focus in the sense of doing less stuff long term. Because if you think about it, if you add in, let's say, 20 different habits, that takes a lot of mental bandwidth, a lot of energy, a lot of time to do them all. But if we compare that, let's say this is the person doing that, the person doing 20 different habits, they've got all the complex productivity systems, they plan every day for like hours and hours. Not that daily planning is bad, but just if you're doing it that much, they've got heaps of productivity apps, just all this stuff. If we compare that person to the person who basically just wakes up, short morning routine, maybe it's just a cold shower, does some push ups, and then gets straight to doing deep work, eats a clean diet, pretty simple life. Who do you think is going to make more progress? It's pretty obviously it's the person who's doing less because they have more time to focus on what actually matters, which is the deep work, the things that get you results, and maybe even some of the habits that do actually matter, focusing on your diet, your exercise, your sleep, right? The foundations. You want to get those right. And the reason that this is actually a problem in the first place, partially, like I already mentioned, is because, new productivity apps and hacks and strategies get way more clicks on YouTube and just go more viral, right? But also it's because implementing those things is way easier, right? And it's kind of a way that we cope without realizing it. We think we're doing the right thing. We think we're being productive when we add in a new routine and a new habit and change stuff around heaps and just add in all this complexity. But we're actually not. Because in a way, that's like a subconscious, there's the subconscious part of ourselves that's basically convinced ourselves that is the thing we need to be doing. But really what it's doing is just stopping us from doing what actually matters and what actually gets you results, which is focusing on the foundations, which are a lot more difficult but get you way, way, way better results long term and allow you to live a better life. And those are things like I already mentioned, like your diet, your sleep, just doing the deep work, and then all of the somewhat more difficult habits, more boring habits that actually contribute to that. So I'm going to try and keep this video pretty short, but basically look at everything you're doing in your life right now and go through like all of your distractions, all your habits, good ones and bad habits, your routine, your systems, all the productivity apps you're using. Just look at every single thing, all the people you subscribe to on YouTube, Instagram, wherever. Just basically everything you're doing, all the content you're consuming, all the information you're listening to, all the advice you're taking, and ask yourself for every single thing, is this actually helping me achieve my goals? Is this actually making me more productive, or is it just taking more time and making me feel more productive? Because being productive and feeling productive are two very, very different things. So go through and do that for every single habit, every single routine, all your trackers, all the strategies you're using, all the tools you're using, every single thing, like I was saying, and remove all the stuff that doesn't actually matter. And even if you're a bit doubtful about whether it's going to help or not, what you can do is either compare it to, like, if I just did deep work for this amount of time, would I get better results? Or just try it out, remove it for a week, remove it for a month, just see if you get better results. And I can pretty much guarantee that if you start doing less stuff and just doing more of what actually matters for your goals, you'll make so much more progress. So if you want more help with your productivity, because obviously this is really only one part, there's a link in the description to get my free course on productivity and join my free community. And then another link below that if you want to actually get my help one-on-one and just see how that would work. Yeah, so have a great rest of your day.